Your entire world is a carefully constructed illusion. Every choice you think you make, every memory you hold dear, and everyone around you are just variables in a prison. You are a trapped animal in a virtual cage, created more than 250,000 years ago for a single terrifying purpose. We are livestock, and we are being used as food.
Wait, livestock? Are you saying there is some invisible predator literally eating human beings?
They don't eat our flesh, they feed on our energy. The architects of this cage realize that human emotions are a highly potent power source. Feelings of joy and happiness are digestible, but they are incredibly weak. The real nourishment comes from sadness, malice, and especially anger. Pain on a small scale is an appetizer, but the massive collective suffering caused by war, famine, and pandemics is an absolute feast for our creators.
So all the terrible things that happen in the world aren't just bad luck or human nature. It's literally a feeding frenzy for whoever built this place.
Exactly. And the blueprints for this farm were left behind in the oldest recorded history on Earth. If we look at ancient Sumerian texts, we are introduced to a group of deities known as the Anunnaki. According to translations of these tablets, these weren't mythological gods of thunder or the sea. The Anunnaki were a highly advanced extraterrestrial race who arrived here from a distant world called planet Nibiru.
Okay, but if they are an advanced spacefaring civilization, why bother coming to Earth?
Survival. Nibiru was suffering from a rapidly decaying, poisoned atmosphere. The only way to repair their dying sky was to aerosolize massive amounts of refined gold into their atmosphere to act as a reflective shield. Earth had an abundance of this resource, so the Anunnaki landed here to set up a massive global mining operation. But extracting thousands of tons of gold from deep underground is grueling work, even for aliens.
Let me guess. They got tired of digging the holes themselves and decided they needed someone else to do the heavy lifting.
They needed a slave workforce that was smart enough to follow complex orders, but docile enough not to rebel. A deity named Enki solved this labor shortage through brutal genetic engineering. He took the existing DNA of primitive hominids wandering the Earth and aggressively spliced it with their own highly advanced alien genetics. The result of that horrific biological experiment was us. Modern mankind was entirely manufactured to be biological mining equipment.
Hold on, you're telling me human beings didn't naturally evolve on Earth? We were just cooked up in a lab to swing pickaxes?
The physical evidence points exactly to that conclusion. Dr. Ellis Silver authored a controversial book arguing that Earth is essentially a prison planet, and humans are incredibly ill-equipped to be living here. For example, humans are the only animals on Earth completely susceptible to sunburns. Lizards, birds, and even completely hairless mammals have natural UV protection built into their biology. We don't, because our base DNA originated under a completely different star.
That actually makes terrifying sense. If we evolved entirely under the sun, our skin wouldn't constantly cook itself alive.
It gets worse. Dr. Silver points out that our bodies are completely disproportionate for Earth-specific gravity. It is the primary reason why a massive percentage of the human population suffers from chronic back pain. Why our hips and knees inevitably give out as we age. We are simply too heavy for our own skeletal structure. Furthermore, human infants are born entirely helpless, requiring years of constant protection, unlike almost every other species on the planet that is born ready to run, hide, or hunt.
So we are literally aliens on our own planet, suffering from bad gravity and sunburns, all because some ancient gods needed gold.
Gold was the original objective, but as their newly engineered slave species gained true sentience, something unexpected happened. We started generating complex, highly potent emotional energy. The Anunnaki quickly realized that harvesting the intense negative emotions of billions of trapped humans was infinitely more valuable than digging for shiny metal. To maximize this harvest, they needed a way to monitor us constantly, but they couldn't just watch from a distance. To truly control a rapidly growing sentient population, the architects needed wardens directly on the ground. This is where the conspiracy takes a deeply unsettling turn. Prominent researchers like David Icke claim that humans currently share the Earth with an advanced reptilian race known as the Archons. These beings supposedly operate at the absolute highest levels of global government, finance, and technology, quietly ensuring that the human herd remains compliant.
Wait, shape-shifting lizard people secretly running the banks? That sounds like the plot of a late-night comic book.
They don't physically change their biology like comic book characters. The reality is much more sinister. They use highly advanced technology to manipulate the human brain, forcing us to perceive them as ordinary people. They enforce a strict frequency embargo around the Earth. Our brains are actually biologically capable of seeing the true universe and the entities controlling it. But this embargo locks our consciousness into a narrow, three-dimensional illusion.
So, we are essentially wearing invisible VR headsets, and these wardens are just walking among us, making sure we stay blind to the farm.
Precisely. We are kept entirely oblivious to the true nature of our existence. And the primary broadcast tower for this frequency embargo, it's the massive device generating the signal that keeps humanity trapped in this illusion, is hanging right above our heads. To keep a watchful eye on their new emotional energy farm, the creators needed a massive permanent observation deck in the sky. According to ancient texts from around the globe, there was a time when the Earth had no moon. Greek philosophers like Aristotle and Plutarch wrote extensively about the Arcadians, an ancient civilization that explicitly possessed their land long before the moon ever appeared in the night sky. Furthermore, ancient Zulu legends described two alien brothers with scaly skin who hollowed out a massive celestial egg and physically rolled it across the cosmos into Earth's orbit.
Wait, so you're saying the moon isn't a natural rock caught in our gravity? It's literally a hollowed-out alien spaceship acting as a global security camera.
That is exactly what the terrifying scientific data suggests. In November 1969, NASA astronauts deliberately crashed the Apollo 12 ascent stage into the lunar surface to test seismic equipment. Instead of a quick, muffled thud like a solid mass of rock, the impact caused the moon to violently vibrate for over an hour. Scientists famously described it as ringing exactly like a massive, hollow bell. The moon is mathematically too big, its orbit is impossibly perfect, and seismic data strongly indicates it is entirely hollow inside. But a monitoring station wasn't enough. If human bodies eventually die, the creators risk losing their precious emotional food source to a higher plane of existence. To prevent their livestock from escaping, they constructed a highly advanced piece of technology on the far side of the moon. They built a soul recycler. When your physical body shuts down, your consciousness is violently pulled into this lunar machine, wiped of all its memories, and forced back down to Earth into a new infant's body.
A machine that literally catches souls and forcibly recycles them? That sounds like a completely inescapable sci-fi nightmare.
It sounds like pure fiction until you look at the unclassified photographs. In December 2021, the Chinese lunar rover U-22 was exploring the dark side of the moon when it captured a chilling image. Sitting completely alone on the barren horizon was a massive, perfectly geometric, cube-shaped structure. The space agency officially labeled it a mystery hut, but conspiracy researchers recognized it immediately. Former CIA contract pilot John Lear had already publicly exposed classified documents regarding a 6-mile-high tower on the moon designed specifically as a soul catcher. We are trapped in an endless loop of forced reincarnation designed to keep us producing negative energy forever. The internet message boards and conspiracy forums are filled with people who feel completely paralyzed by this theory. They feel an overwhelming sense of anger and despair at the idea that they are just disposable batteries for an alien race, doomed to suffer through a torturous, unfair life time and time again. But what they don't realize is that by reacting with outrage and victimhood, they are playing right into the hands of the architects. They're willingly handing over the exact negative emotional nourishment that the jailers crave the most.
So, if getting incredibly angry just feeds the machine and keeps us trapped, how the hell do we break out of the loop?
You starve them. If negative emotions like hate, fear, and jealousy are the toxic fuel that powers this cosmic prison, then positive emotions are the virus that breaks the system. You have the ultimate choice in how you perceive your reality and how you react to your circumstances. When you actively choose kindness over anger, acceptance over judgment, and joy over profound sadness, you are effectively cutting off their food supply. Love is the one high-frequency energy they simply cannot digest. It is the only way to break the matrix and free your consciousness. So the next time you feel consumed by rage over something entirely out of your control, take a deep breath and remember who might be feeding off that exact emotion. Thank you for diving into the dark abyss with us tonight on Two Weirdos. If this late night conversation shifted your perspective, hit that subscribe button and share it with someone who needs to wake up. Drop a comment below. Do you think the moon is just a rock or a watcher in the sky? Stay curious, stay positive, and never let them harvest your energy.